Hello and welcome to Opinions Plus. I want to thank the viewers. My Keeping Hope Alive clip. I do appreciate all the views. I appreciate all who view all the clips, but apparently that had made some impact, or at least more than normal. And uh, it's an important topic, hope, and keeping that in inherent in our lives is critical. The topic for today or this evening is trust. It goes along with hope. We have to trust our society, our world, everything we deal with, family, friends, economy, you name it, it has an element of trust in it. The money you spend, all is trust. Has nothing, there's no value to it other than what we allow it to be, because we trust the um, society, the economic world that created it, um, to maintain it. But if the people fail, just like you have runs on the bank and all that stuff, because people lose faith, they lose trust in the institution. And in today's world, apparently trust is not so high on the understanding level of a lot of people. Um, in this world right now, there's a lot of people, especially in the political arena, tearing down government, saying it's partisan, it's weaponized and all this stuff. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's an affront to law enforcement. It's an affront to the FBI agents who sacrifice in DEA and immigration, you name it, any law enforcement, local, federal, state, doesn't matter. They put themselves out there in harm's way many times to enforce the law. They enforce the law, and you have to trust that they're going to enforce the law in the main. But things are changing to the point where people are not trusting. They don't trust government. They don't trust what's being said because many of the leaders are saying, "Oh no, this is all weaponized. This is all deep state nonsense," and they have some you know vague evidentiary path that they take to support whatever construct they have. But you think about it, all these indictments of Trump and all these other people, they're based on the law. They violated the law. They explain it. I mean, you just listen and read the indictment. It explains what it's about. It explains why the law was breached, and that's why they're going to court. It has nothing to do with free speech and all this other stuff. I mean, come on. If anybody has got free speech, it's Mr. Trump. He's been able to speak and speak and speak and defame and say horrendous things about people and never be held accountable. I couldn't do that. Well, frankly, I don't have it in me to do that. I wouldn't want to do that to another person. To just go right out and make innuendos about, you know, uh, Fonnie Willis and say she's sleeping with some or slept with some gang leader, or call Chris Christie a fat pig. I mean, you know, he goes to the audience and says, "Oh, you shouldn't call him a fat pig." I mean, come on, what is happening here? They're weaponizing the free speech concept to create an environment where trust is weak at best in many of the minds of people that listen to this stuff. Critically think about what is being said. Critically think about it. It may not be perfect. It may not be right. It may not be moral even, because the law is not moral. The law is just the law. It's just what people created, and that's the way it is. Most laws have some moral basis to it. But law in itself is not moral. Your spirituality creates the morality, not the law. And that goes into what, talk about trust. Trust in our leadership to come forward and say the things that need to be said and set the example for us underlings. For those who need guidance, and honest to goodness, some of these people need lots of guidance. They're still talking about, some of these people were interviewed. Again, it's just sad because it's an American perspective. They're calling people Marxists and communists and all this other stuff. Trust, demeaning it. The Russians aren't even communists anymore. Neither are the Chinese. They call themselves Chinese communists, but they're not. They've left the Mao concept, they've left the Marxist concept way behind. They're not that anymore. They're power people. They're used to the idea of what the Communist Party is, but they are not communists in the sense of the true Maoist and what, Marx and Lenin and those people started. They aren't. There's no community, communistic approach to it. But people believe it. They go along with it because they're making money and it's not chaos yet. Once there's chaos, then there's going to be change. Just like in the Ukraine, there's chaos, there's going to be change. But why do you have to have that? You don't. If people had more trust, more understanding of what good people are, the quality that people give in their assigned duties and jobs, and those who have taken oaths, as I did in federal government, as I did in the military. You take an oath. You swear to uphold the Constitution, and then you want to redefine it. You want to rewrite it. You want to reread it. You want to do whatever the heck you want to do to it. The Constitution is simply the law of the land. Free speech is free speech, yes, but it doesn't give you carte blanche to do it, to say whatever the heck you want. Just like the old thing, you can't yell fire in a theater. Oh, but this guy can do it. No, he can't. He's just a bloody man, just like everybody else, just like me, just like anybody. They're just human beings who have power and prestige. They're negating the trust, the societal trust in the institutions that are critical to our survival, to our betterment, to our happiness. Don't people see that? The government is not any entity. It's not a thing. It's the people behind it. And they're not just Democrats behind it. There's many Republicans. There's many independents. There's no political party. There's nobodies. They don't care about politics. They don't care. They're people and want to have happiness and joy and decency. That's what we strive for. But in order to have that, you have to have trust in the institutions. And what they're doing right now, and especially the Republicans, for some unknown reason, which I can't fathom, I've tried, but I cannot fathom why it's them. How did that Tea Party movement and all that, morph into what it is today? QAnon stuff, and that green woman with the space lasers and all kinds of nonsense that comes out of these people's mouth without any evidence, they just say stuff. They just say stuff. And no evidence at all. Yeah, and you can go on a right wing, or you can do this, or you can explore that, and you can find avenues in which somebody says something, but you can't, create that evidence-based perspective. Just like this Lindell guy who, has ruined his company, his reputation, and everything. Said, okay, put my data up on that symposium and said, I'm $5 million. You can. This is pure data. This is really good stuff. He didn't even know what it was. 40 minutes, one of these IT guys knocked it out of the park. And then Lindell, of course, didn't want to pay him. Went to arbitration. Now he's got to pay him. Is the guy going to get his $5 million? Probably not. Lindell's ruined his company and everything else. Ruined his reputation. Why? Because he believed in that weird data that the man proved was wrong. But you can't prove it to Lindell. He believes it. Belief is a strong thing. It warps the mind. That's where critical thinking comes in. That's where belief has limits. It's one of the forces of nature, but it's not the best force of nature. It has to be tempered with logic and reason. And there's good people who believe in good things about many things and different opinions on policies and everything else. I don't want to get into policy. I mean, some policies, like the ripping children from their parents, horrendous, disgusting policy. I will get into that. That's just horrible. That's moral. That's amoral, immoral. But that's the law, according to Jeff Sessions. But is it? In the military, we were told, you have to follow orders, complete, lawful orders. Well, then it comes to the problem of what's lawful. It's incredible. Because it comes down to the societal direction. And a lot of that is based on trust. And they're eroding the trust in our institutions. Why? I really cannot fathom it, because there's no alternatives that they offer. That Cruz guy and others, they just palaver. They don't offer anything. They just demean. There's no counterpoint. They just rile people up. And people can be riled up. What are you going to do? How are you going to change that? Well, in this environment today, with all the indictments and all the problems and all the concerns, not only in the United States, but across the world, because what's happening in the Ukraine is affecting us here. It's affecting the trust in a world economy. And it's all based on trust. Think about it. Think about it. Elevate yourselves. Think about it. Trust. Critical. Foundational. Keeping hope alive. Establishing trust in your society and your institutions. You have to have it. If there's a problem with those institutions, do something about that. But if you just walk away from it, nothing will change. Things will change. I misspoke. Things will change, but they won't change to the better. And there'll be more problems. There's many problems that need to be attended to. And you have to have trust, and you have to be together to do that. The majority of people have to be together. Right now, I don't know where it's going. So I promote trusting your institutions. They're not criminal activities. They're not they're institutions. The people in it, Merrick Garland and all that, because it's just outrageous what they're saying. Does he have a bias? I don't know. Maybe he does. Who the heck knows? I don't know Merrick Garland from Adam, but, But understand that there's more to this situation than just one man, whether it's Biden or and there's some nonsense with, this equivalency of corrupt Bidenness to what Mr. Trump and his family did. My gosh, they made billions. Come on. But nobody cares. Do you care? I hope you do. I care. Well, thanks for listening. Trust is vital. You have to work on it. There's no answer to it. There's no easy answer to it. You got to work on it as a society, as an individual, with your schools and everything else. You're just your world view. Focus on it. Understand what is being taken from you, because it's important to listen and understand and to think, critically think about the issues that are before you, before us. Thanks for listening. Subscribe if you'd like, and pass it on. Do the link, send the link on. Like it if you'd like it, and hit the like if you don't. No, I'm just kidding you. Well, gotta have trust in it. Just know it's important. Foundational stuff. Basic foundational issues. Keeping hope alive and establishing trust in your institutions, in your society. Think about it. Work at it. Because it comes back to us as individuals. Take care. All the best. Bye for now.